I take pictures a lot. Those of you who know me, you know how much I love to take pictures, especially lightning pictures. I was looking through my pictures one day, and I thought, you know, Common Core reminds me a lot of some of these pictures that I take. This is a picture I took of from the derecho storm last summer. This is what I saw in front of me, and this really reminded me of Common Core because, you know, the Common Core just kind of struck us all of a sudden. It's a little scary, a little ominous, isn't it? So that's kind of, we feel like we're just being bombarded all of a sudden. And it kind of makes you, it's my kitty. And then you kind of cover your eyes, you know, you're kind of afraid to see what's coming. Lightning bug. Then we start working out the bugs a little bit. We're starting to talk with each other, you know, and go to these trainings, and we're starting to understand, work out the bugs a little bit. Who knows Powell's Mountain Goat?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting to work with Common Core a little bit, and we're getting a little more sure-footed, like our Powell's Mountain Goat. You know, you see him up on this steep cliff, and you wonder how in the world is she staying up there. So we're gonna, as we move on, we'll get a little more sure-footed, and then we'll slowly take our hands away from our eyes as we start to see, you know, some success. And we'll start to hopefully get that warm, fuzzy feeling. So that's what I hope for us. You know, I'm still learning. You know, we're all going to, it's a big, long learning process. So hopefully that's where we'll end up, is with that nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. What's the big deal about Common Core and writing? Their rationale, as you heard this morning, they need to build a foundation. They need to be ready for college and career. And these new Common Core standards and objectives, that's supposed to get us to that point. One thing that employers are finding is that their employees need to communicate a little more clearly, not only in writing, but orally. And we have to do it sometimes to unfamiliar audiences, and technology. You know, that's a biggie. So, okay, we have, you guys have a copy of your standards, don't you? Okay, so go ahead and get those out. You have some anchor standards. These are your 4 main anchor standards: text type and purposes, and we'll talk a little more about that in a minute. Production, distribution, writing, research to build and present knowledge, and then ranges of writing. And then under those 4 main anchor standards, there are 10 objectives under those. Okay, let's go into types of writing that they talked about. It used to be more uneven. Now they're saying we need to do narrative, opinion, argument, informational, and they want a balance in these things. Let's take a look at narrative. For your grade level, that's the easiest place to begin to work with them on writing, because we grow up on narratives. We see things on Facebook. You know, we're always in the social networks, and we hear stories, you know, about Grandpa caught a fish this long, you know. Argument and opinion. For second grade, for the younger students, we use the word opinion. It doesn't, you won't see the word argument in the standards until about grade 6. But that one would be the next easiest to teach your students how to write, because, you know, they're always talking about what's your favorite food, what's my favorite team, what's my favorite movie. Informational, that's another type of text that we need to be teaching them how to write. It's a little harder. You have to distance yourself. It's a little more knowledge-based, and that's going to be harder for them. Of those 3, they occupy narrative, opinion, informational. overall occupies about half of those standards for writing, and the rest of them, just tells how students do the work of those first three standards. Major shift, you heard about shifts this morning. One of our major shifts in writing is writing from sources, various sources, and connecting whatever you're reading in the classroom, connecting that with writing. They need to present clear information, and they need to start looking at evaluating strengths and weaknesses of different perspectives. Be ready to support your ideas, and then as they get older, you won't do this so much in the younger grades, be ready for counterclaims. Drawing evidence from text, that's a biggie. Writing response to sources. Different genres under those three main types of writing. Narrative, they can write about personal narrative, fiction, fantasy, biography, nonfiction. Under opinion argument writing, they can be writing persuasive letters, reviews, petitions, editorials. And informational writing, fact sheets, news articles, blogs, websites, different types of reports, how-tos, recipes. And as I said before, they want equal amounts, approximately. Approximately 35% in narrative, informational, and 30 under opinion argument. A lot of your informational text and writing, that'll be addressed in math and science and social studies. And, of course, a large portion of your narrative will be in ELA. I wanted to show you this. This is something that some teachers in Braxton County, they took their students' writing and made a bulletin board out of it. And I really thought this was neat. They became heroes. And let's find something here. They used a newspaper template. I don't know which template they used, but you can type in newspaper template and you can come up with all kinds of resources. They typed their story and created a headline and everything, and again, they used technology to do this writing. But they were hometown heroes, and some of them were, one student was saved someone's life who checked on a biscuit at Tudor's Biscuit or something like that. And one of them invented a flying car. So it was a neat, creative way to introduce writing. Let the cat out of the bag. In their writing, they gave clues about what they were writing, and then the other students had to guess what they were writing about. So they were writing about different animals, but you could integrate that into, it could be science. Maybe they could give clues about whatever you're working on in science or social studies or, whatever curriculum you're working on. And then the students had to guess, and, they came along, and students would stop in the hall, and I'd watch them, they were reading, they would try to guess what animal that the students were talking about. And then this was a nice one for science, writing in science, the golden tree frog. They provided just all these different facts about golden tree frogs. So they had to do research. You're going to hear a lot about research in writing. So they had to get online, and also they read books. So they had to write. That's writing from different sources, online and different books. It's a backward design. I kind of like to call it the soccer game strategy. If you have a soccer game to get to at 3:30 in the afternoon, that's where you need to be. You want to be there at 3:30. Okay, so backward design is, you have an overall goal, and then you have to think, well, what do I need to do? What are all the steps I need to take in order to get there to this soccer game at 3:30? Same thing with writing. You have to think about what do you want them to be writing? You have to have an overall focused question. And then we need to build working knowledge. That gets into close reading, vocabulary, discussing with each other. And close reading, I'm not going to go into that too heavily today because we'll be presenting on that tomorrow. But it's not close, C-L-O-Z-E, like you've heard before. It's close. That just means digging deeper into that text. Processing that knowledge. Discussing some more. It's where, listening, speaking, very important in Common Core. So, and gathering, recording evidence, taking notes. Structure. How do we want to get our students started? Do we want to give them a sentence frame? Do we want to, we'll need to model a lot. Need to have a focused statement that goes along with that focused question. And then, of course, the last step, the writing process, where you need to draft, revise, edit. And we'll go into this a little more. So if it's, if you're covering your eyes like Kitty, that's okay right now. I'm still covering my eyes a little bit.